always remind everyone what's in it for them. That's your job.
Right. So we are here talking about how to build your automatic referral machine, especially if you are a lawyer. This is completely directed towards lawyers, although, of course, anybody can use these tactics. We're going to get started with some Q&A. We're going to jump right into some really tactical content.
Our publisher has us writing a book entitled The Million Dollar Referral Machine for Lawyers. The Million Dollar Referral Machine for Lawyers is based on a book called The Automatic Marketing Machine. So it's the Automatic Million Dollar Referral Machine for Lawyers. We're still fine-tuning the title with the negotiating with the publisher. But basically, if you're a lawyer, especially if you own a law firm, but even if you don't own a law firm and you want to build a referral machine, this is what this book is all about.
Yeah. So if anybody has any questions or anything, we'll do Q&A at the end. We'll get started with a couple of questions this morning that have come in over the weekend. And then we'll have our legendary book wrangler, Heidi Justo, kind of dig in with RJon on some of the concepts that are in the book, get some of those details that'll be really helpful for everybody else too. So make sure that while they are talking, you are posting any questions that you have in the chat and in the Q&A, and we will add those at the end. We'll address those. And tomorrow we will be joined in studio by Dr. Ivan Misner, who is the founder of BNI as well.
And I will be early tomorrow.
Yes, and we will be early. So RJon, let me start
out with the big idea here, everyone, is we're writing this book, and we decided to share with you the opportunity to see how the sausages get made. We're not trying to pretend like it's perfect, because it's not perfect, because writing books is not perfect. Most of the time, you only get to see the finished product of things, and we're showing you the whole thing, or as much of it as we can. Keep in mind, this idea was hatched about 2.5 years ago. Not last summer, the summer before. So 2.5 years ago, we hatched the idea. 2 years ago, I used Ivan Misner's Book in a Box program to bang out the outline for this thing in one single sitting, which was freaking amazing. It's an awesome program, Book in a Box by Ivan Misner, Dr. Ivan Misner. And the publisher put us together with legendary book wrangler Heidi Justo. Heidi has interviewed us extensively, and this is now the next round of interviews to drag this book out of us. And we're doing it live. And we decided to do it live and not try to make it all pretty and perfect, because we want you to see the realities of how things like this get done. And the reality of how things like this get done is, holy crap. You just get it done. And you have tech problems, and you got A/B problems, and you got all kinds of issues you deal with along the way. Holy crap, there's like no golf cart parking. And you get to a problem with no freaking golf cart parking. But the problem is, you see all these people on stage talking about their book, and they go to podcasts talking about their book, and you think, oh my God, I can never do that because I'm not perfect, and the process is a lot of work. Anyone who tells you they can get a book done with AI, and maybe the day will come where you can use AI to write a book, but it's not here yet. What do you think about that, Heidi? You think that you're going to be replaced by AI?
Well, I'm not naive. I think a lot of people are using AI. It's not going away, but I still am not convinced that, AI still isn't reasoning like a human. And I feel like it's really hard to replicate what a person can really write and the sentiment you can get across, where a lot of the stuff that's AI generated now, it's like it's bland. It's like, oh yeah, there's the buzzwords that everybody else is using, but like what's the point of view? What's the perspective? How are you actually connecting with the audience? To me, and I really stay on top of this, like for obvious reasons, that is still largely missing. And there's just a lot of issues too with AI right now that lawyers, I think, are probably more aware of maybe than most people. Like there's a mass lawsuit going on from like the New York Times for plagiarism, where and mass copyright infringement. All the lawyers would know the terms better than I do, but you ask a question and there are these instances of huge chunks of text just being pulled verbatim from these articles, and no one has given consent to have their material used. So that's where I try not to be a Luddite, like someone who's fighting technological change. But for now, it's like I will not use it to generate content. I absolutely will not. Understanding like as maybe research assistant in the sense of I'm looking something up, but even that, it is known to it's known to fabricate sources. And I tested this out, like give me 10 sources on blah blah blah, just to really get a grasp of this when it first came out, and then periodically checking up, and it will create fake sources. And we saw that happen, and this is not a political statement, but we saw that happen recently, I believe, through a major report through the Department of Health and Human Services, that a lot of like there's a handful of sources that were in this report that were fake. And then I believe there's quite a few lawyers getting in trouble for submitting things before the court with citations of cases that don't exist. So will things change for people like me? I would think so, because I'm not naive on this. But as of right now, I don't think the work that we're doing here could be replicated at the level that you'd want from putting into ChatGPT, right? And then there's like, and that's even aside from the ethical like kind of considerations, and for people who are concerned with the energy use of AI, there's all of that. So that's where I am on it for now.
I have a completely different perspective on all of this.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm turning on my computer. And then I'll transfer from the phone to the computer. And again, tomorrow morning, I will be early.
For those who are just joining us, we are kind of showing how a bit of the sausage gets made. You are here for the $1 Million Referral Machine.
Yeah, this is not meant to be a podcast, everyone. This is meant to be a performance art piece. This is the opportunity to see behind the scenes how things like this, how best-selling books actually get created. They get created with lots and lots and lots and lots of meetings, which have to get scheduled and fit in around the lives and businesses of usually very busy people, because you really want to read a book from someone who's got nothing going on, right? Yeah, got nothing to do, so I'll just write a book.
That's an excellent point. I mean, I'm routinely scheduling meetings around, oh, this person's in France, this person's in Kenya, this person's here. And it is just, it's an exercise in flexibility as well, of like making things work for everyone.
Sorry, I was switching from the computer to the phone. Give me one more moment and then I will be ready to go.
Perfect. RJon, are you talking while you're working?
Hang on a second.
Sure. For those who are just joining us, if you've been here for the last few days, and have some questions over what we've been talking about. We will get to the Q&A portion at the end after Heidi's done asking some of her questions for the day. So if you have any questions about building your your $1 million referral machine, please put them in chat. We'll make sure to address all of them.
Is my
as
audio
many of
good?
them as we have time for.
Let me hear you.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
All right. You hear that?
No, I don't hear that, but you don't sound thin and hollow. So
Okay. So
that
either
must
way,
be
you like
working.
the sound.
Yes, I do.
All right. Good.
No, you've got your off center. Your left. Yeah, you need to move it the other way because we're seeing wall and not the sheet. That needs to be perfect.
Better?
Yes. Yes,
All right.
indeedy.
Look at this. I got my light set up, my microphone set up, everything set up by myself. All I needed was a
Yes.
little adjustment there. That's perfect. Collar's not wonky. It's all good.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
look good.
It's straightened out. Yes.
All right. Heidi, I have a very different perspective on what you just said.
Yeah, go for it.
Number one, remember one of the number one lessons on marketing is know your avatar, right? Know their pain points, know what their hot buttons are, know what really is motivating them, right? This is like the intellectual property lawyer who wants to go to the prospective referral sources and tell them all about the ins and outs of copyright law and patent law and the United States Supreme Court's latest ruling on put me to sleep. I don't care. I didn't go to law school. I'm not an intellectual property lawyer. I don't care, right? This is like the family law attorney who wants to talk to the potential referral sources and try to impress them with like family law, right?
Yeah.
No one cares, right?
Okay.
No one cares, right? We don't want to know how the sausages get made. The biggest thing you got to know if you want to trigger a lot of referrals for your law firm is understanding, really embracing. We talked about this over and over and over again. We talked about it a lot in the book. We talked about it, I think, the first day. No one hires a lawyer because they have a legal problem. They're not hiring lawyers. They're not asking for a referral to a law firm because they're having a legal problem. No one goes to their best no one goes to someone who they know and they like and they trust and they say, let me give you a law school style explanation of my legal problem. Do you know a technician who can solve this legal problem for me? They don't do that. They speak in plain terms, like for real, they talk in plain terms.
Yeah.
And I'm not even trying to be like, on a ninth grade level. They just talk in plain terms, right? They're usually holding a drink in their hand. They're usually, either really, really uptight and nervous and scared, or really relaxed. And they're describing a personal problem. And very often, the person who needs to be referred to you does not realize they need to be referred to a lawyer. They're describing a problem they're having, or a challenge they're having, or an opportunity that they're trying to figure out what to do with. And it's up to the referral source to figure out, wait a second, this thing you're describing sounds to me like something that RJon in my network can help you with. This is why the magic statement is so important, because you're teaching potential referral sources to recognize when someone who's talking to them is describing something that is what you do.
Yeah.
And if you just say, I'm a lawyer, your referral sources don't know how to connect the story they're hearing with lawyer. If you say, I'm a family law attorney, I'm a bankruptcy law attorney, I'm an immigration law attorney, I'm an intellectual property attorney, I'm a mergers and acquisitions attorney, I'm a real estate attorney, your referral sources, most of your referral sources, do not know how to recognize and translate the stories they're hearing from people in their network into what you do. They don't know how to make this transition, this translation, right? When you say, I help people get out of unhappy marriages so they can get on with the rest of their life, that they can recognize. I'm talking to someone who's describing an unhappy marriage and they want to get on with the rest of their life. And then the referral source can say, I know who I can introduce you to who can help you get out of this unhappy situation and get on with the rest of your life. When you say, I help get the creditors to stop calling my clients. I get creditors to leave my clients alone. The person who's doing the talking, in other words, your future potential client, they're not saying, I need a bankruptcy lawyer, preferably someone who can file a Chapter 7 because I'm not behind on my mortgage and therefore I qualify. That's not what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about how their creditors are bothering them and the creditors won't leave them alone. And the referral source wanting to provide value to the relationship, the referral source wanting to be more valuable in the future of this person, because they want this person to think of them when they need a roofer, when they need an accountant, when they need a lawn care person, when they need a mover, when they need an insurance broker. Your potential referral sources are trying to remain relevant in the lives of everyone in their network. And when they hear someone talking about creditors bothering them, your referral source will be able to then say, creditors bothering you, I know who to bring you to. I know someone who can get the creditors to leave you alone. Or you might say, I help people with not great credit buy a home. I help people with not great credit get on with their life. I help people with not great credit get a new car. And they're out there talking to people in their network, and the person in their network is complaining about how they really want to get a house and they're tired of renting. And well, why don't you buy a house? Well, my credit isn't so great. Oh, I know who to talk to. I know who to bring you to. You say that you're not getting the house you want because your credit isn't so great. And I know the person who told me that they help people get a house when their credit isn't so great. Make the connection, right? You've got to educate your potential referral sources to be able to make these connections. Anyway, so Heidi, here's what I'm getting at. No one gives a crap about any of the stuff you said. Respectfully, no one cares. They don't. Your clients are not coming to you to write a legal treatise. Your clients are not coming to you to write something that is going to, be filed with a court.
No.
Your clients are coming to you to write a book that they can use, let's face it, for brand building and marketing.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the chances of, someone suing them because of a copyright infringement, because of ChatGPT, it's so remote in their mind as for it to actually reduce your credibility when you cite it as a reason why they should work with a real professional book wrangler. When you say, it's like my son caught a gigantic, like seriously, a gigantic mutton snapper. It's huge. It's like 30 inches, which in the world of mutton snapper is really, really, really big. If there's any fisher people here who go after mutton snapper, they'll be very impressed that he caught a 30-inch mutton snapper. Yeah. But because he's 9 years old, when he was talking with his other little 9-year-old friends, he said he caught a 10-foot mutton snapper, which of course makes no one believe anything he says, right? And then when he says, no, 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 it was actually 30 inches, they're like, yeah, that's bullshit, because you already said it was 10 feet. We didn't believe you there. Now we don't believe that it was actually 30 inches, which is damn impressive.
Mhm.
When you tell people that they should hire a professional book wrangler because they don't want to get sued for copyright infringement, they're like, yeah, now I think everything you're saying is bullshit. That's number one. Number two, they don't care about copyright infringement.
Oh,
They don't.
okay.
You are like the bankruptcy lawyer who thinks that all your clients need to care about the bankruptcy code. You are like the intellectual property lawyer or the family law attorney who thinks all your clients care about the latest Supreme Court ruling on blah, 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 blah. You're like the real estate lawyer who thinks that all your clients care about title clouding issues and, you know, the history of real estate. No one cares. No proof. Here's proof. Do you really care about the mechanics of how the trust is going to work that's going to protect your children's future? Or do you just want to know your children's future is protected?
B.
There you go. No one cares, right? They should care. It'd be nice if they care. But the reality is no one cares about any of that stuff.
Mechanics.
They don't
Yeah.
care about it, right? And number three, and this is actually the biggest problem with the way you were presenting it, right?
Okay.
They're uneducated consumers. They don't know any better.
Hmm.
Chat GPT spits out some piece of shit and they look at it and they're like, oh, that looks fine. And then they make the mistake of showing it to their uneducated friends and family who don't want to hurt their feelings. And they go, oh, that looks fine. That was great.
Yeah.
Right? I had a member. She's now a former member. She was very proud of this book that she and her quote unquote book coach wrote. Have you ever read something that's so badly written that like literally makes you angry while you read it?
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
I'm reading this thing and like I'm literally getting angry while I'm like, why am I getting angry? And it's so badly written that like it's literally hurting my brain because
Yeah.
my mind is used to a sentence flowing a certain way, right? It's used to there being like a point to a story. It's used to like, there's a
Point to a
reason why
story.
this is, I'm sorry?
A point to a story. Imagine that.
And this book was so bad. I mean, it was so obviously written with Chat GPT or AI or whatever. And it's so obvious. Like it was literally making me angry while I'm reading it. But so my point is, so I'm going to tell you a different story.
Yeah.
Years ago, I worked with a speaking coach, someone who would like help you develop your skills to make professional, compelling presentations.
Hmm.
And Ann told me how many of her clients would come to her or prospective clients would come to her and they want to hire her. And they say, well, I want you to train me how to be persuasive with my speaking. And she'd say, great. What's your topic? What do you want to talk about? What's your point? And they'd say, I don't know. And she'd say, well, I can't give you a point, right?
Yeah.
And so what Ann had to do in her business is she had to evolve her business from coaching you on how to present well to coaching you on how to find your story.
Hmm.
And in my opinion, we didn't hire you and pay you the quite exorbitant fees that you charge. I think most people would be shocked and impressed to know how much a professional book wrangler charges. We did not pay you this because we're a couple of idiots who can't put our fingers on a keyboard and tell our story. What I hired you for was because what I think of you as is the muse. You're the one who pulls the story out of us. You're the one who has the courage to tell us that's boring. We're going to leave that out. no one cares about this story you're telling here. We're not going to put that in the book. And I'm like, but it's so interesting, like to you, not to anyone else, right? AI won't do that, right?
Yeah.
I think of your, like, I could envision a future where you actually use AI, and then your job is to take all of the stuff, like, they say that the sculpture, I chipped away all the stone that didn't belong, and what was left was the sculpture that was in the stone all along.
Mm-hmm.
I see you as like using AI to like put some big monstrosity together. And then your job is to chip away all the crap that doesn't fit to leave us with a really good book. And then there will be people who publish books that clearly didn't have anyone doing any of the chipping, and it's just a big pile of crap.
Yeah.
Those are already flooding the market.
Well, yeah, they're
Yeah.
all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get started.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And
Your
I will, can I
for your
share a brief little
unrequested-
story?
Unrequested coaching session with
Yeah.
RJon.
Hey, I'll take
morning.
it. Can I share a quick little story I think you'll appreciate?
Please, it'll also give me time to shut that door.
So the setting was not a business setting. It was exercise type, like people I know through an exercise club that I'm part of. And we're meeting up, and I've never met this person before. And he talked about how, yeah, ChatGPT is so great. He rewrote his whole website using that. And he's a chiropractor. And he's like, it was so easy. All I did was this. It spit all this information out. It was so easy. It's great. I haven't really, like, the analytics aren't there though. Like, I'm not really seeing the
results.
any results from it, but it was so great. And it's just like all the others that I see. And this setting is not appropriate. It was the rucking club. You meet up early in the morning. It's still dark out. You're just getting ready to go. And it wouldn't
He's
have been
bragging about how ChatGPT made his chiropractic website look
just
generic. Generic.
look like all the others, and there's no results from it. But ChatGPT is amazing. It was not my place at that point to be like, let's talk, because this is a stranger. But yeah, it's
You could leave him with one thought and then storm off hiking and say, has it occurred to you that maybe the problem is that ChatGPT made your website look like everyone else's website, and now it's generic, it doesn't stand out?
that would have been a gift, right? I should have probably said that.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have got the gift because, I mean, like How to Manage a Small Law Firm, we focus, we are part of our like secret sauce, if you will, is that really we're a personal development business for entrepreneurs who happen to own law firms. And that's the thing that most people don't quite get, right? But that's why we get the result that we get, is because until you work on the personal stuff, until you work on the mindset and the personal development, the mechanical stuff, which is fairly simple, doesn't do you any good. And so one of the things that I think that book wranglers like yourself will really be able to deliver tremendous value in the future of AI is helping people find the courage to tell their stories, right? Because let's imagine there was a world where AI can like just read everything you've ever written in your entire life and extract the perfect book. Let's imagine it can extract an amazing, really objectively great book. You can't tell the difference between the book that you crafted and the book that AI in the future crafts.
Mm-hmm.
That world is that future is coming, right? What your role will be the role of helping the would-be author find the courage to put that story out there. And part of the process of writing a book with a book wrangler like you is working through your thoughts and working through your feelings and working through your beliefs and working through your values to get comfortable sharing your story because when you have a positive reaction to the things that I share, it gives me courage to share it with more people.
Yeah.
And when you say, you know what, you should never say that again. Okay, that helps me edit myself.
Yeah.
I
I
really
always
think-
tell people I'll say it with a smile on my face. I'll be nice, but you're going to hear the truth from me.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. I think that the role of professional book wrangler will evolve in that direction in the next, let's say, 5 years. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Carly says we've got, does she say, are there questions? Are there people waiting to ask questions?
We
Carly?
have some questions, but let's get Heidi's content first,
Yes,
and then
we're
we'll
gonna
just
get
put them in
Heidi's
Q&A.
content out first. Yes.
Okay. So I think it's funny. I'm starting with what I think is a technical question but this feels important. At one point when we spoke earlier, you mentioned cause of action for negligent referral. So my question to you is like, what is cause of action for negligent referral, and what do lawyers who want to build an automatic referral machine need to know about this? And we spoke about it in the context of the chapter where we're talking about taking referral fees or not.
So cause of action requires three main elements: duty, breach, causation, and damages. Duty, breach, causation, form, and damages. 4.
Okay.
Duty, you have a duty to do or not to do, or a duty of care. Breach, you prove that you breached the duty. The person, the defendant breached their duty that they had to do or not do, or standard of care. Damages, there has to be damages. If there's no damages, there's no real cause of action. And causation, you have to show that the breach caused the damages. Get it?
Yep.
So a negligent cause of action, a negligent referral cause of action, it's a cause of action in the world of tort law. You have a duty to use a standard of care to make sure, because you know or should know that the person who asked you for the referral has an expectation, or has a reasonable person in that other person's shoes would have an expectation that you would be taking some care to make sure you don't make a referral to someone who is grossly incompetent, who you know to be grossly incompetent, or who you would know to be grossly incompetent had you performed to a certain standard of professionalism, ethics, common decency, right? So, for example, you meet someone at a networking event, and they're attractive, and they're friendly, and they're nice, and they say all kinds of flattering, wonderful things to you, and they tell you that they can refer a ton of business to you, and they start referring a ton of business to you. They start referring great clients to you. I mean, this is like, wow, I've hit the jackpot here. This person that I met at this networking event is referring tons of great clients to me, and they go around town saying wonderful things about me, and they flirt with me, and they flatter me, and they send me gifts, and everything's great. Yes?
Okay.
All right. And the person is in the business of X, Y, Z, whatever. They're in the widget business, right? And you find that you are in a place now to make a referral to them. Someone needs a widget. Someone you know needs a widget, right? For you, let's just take an extreme case. You know that this person lost their license last year for being horrible at producing widgets. All right?
Yeah.
You know they lost their widget license for being horrible at delivering widgets. And you've gotten feedback from 3 of the people this person referred to you for your business. 3 of that person's former widget customers told you that they paid the person for their widgets and they never got their widgets delivered. So you know the person has lost their license for delivering bad widgets. You've got you've got 3 people who have told you that the person ripped them off in the widget deal, right? If you, Heidi, were to ask me, RJon, do you know someone who can help me with widgets? And I refer you to that person without disclosing to you, listen, I'm going to refer you to this person, but I want to let you know that they got their license revoked and that I've got 3 people who have gotten ripped off from them. I mean, you would expect me to share that with you before making that referral, right?
Yes.
Okay, I told you this is an extreme example,
Yeah.
right? This is where you affirmatively know the person is horrible at doing the job and you refer someone to them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's the extreme example. Excuse me. Now let's take a less extreme example.
But in this example, you are disclosing, you know these things.
No, I'm saying if you don't disclose it.
If you don't disclose that. Okay.
I'm making an extreme example where you affirmatively know this person got their license revoked, that you've got lots of negative feedback about people doing bad business with them. It's terrible. Like, you know, they're terrible and you refer someone to them anyway.
Anyways, got it.
And let's suppose I refer that person to you. Yeah.
Yep.
And you pay the person $10,000 deposit for a widget, and then they never deliver the widget, and you're out your $10,000. You would come back to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'd say, "Hey, RJon, this guy took my $10,000 and he never delivered anything." And I say, "Yeah, I know." What would your response be? Let's role play this.
Yeah. What do you mean you know? I trusted you.
Well, I knew because I knew. I was aware of the fact that he had a bad reputation for taking people's money and not delivering their widgets. In fact, I know he got his license suspended last year for doing exactly that.
And you didn't feel the need to tell me that?
Well, you got to understand, he refers a lot of business to me.
Well, how would you feel if you were in my shoes? I'm out 10 grand. Are you going to give it back to me?
So now you understand the cause of action of a negligent referral.
Yes.
Right? Now let's make it less extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You are asking me for a referral for a doctor to do something for one of your children.
Yep.
And I say, Heidi, I know just the doctor. This person is, I know this person. I like this person. I trust this person. I think this is the right doctor for you. And then I make an introduction and I say, Dr. So-and-so, this is Heidi. Heidi is a great person. Her daughter needs blah, 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 blah. And I thought you would be the right person to introduce her to. Heidi, this is Dr. So-and-so. Dr. So-and-so, I've known Dr. So-and-so for years, and I think very highly of Dr. So-and-so. And Dr. So-and-so, I want you to understand that Heidi is a very important person in my life. She's one of my clients. And so you're going to treat her like a VIP. And Dr. So-and-so says, yes, I'll treat Heidi like a VIP. And you go off with Dr. So-and-so. Yeah?
Yep.
Do you feel like and then you find out that Dr. So-and-so is a horrible doctor who's got like 10 malpractice actions against them. And they're, actively using drugs and drinking and just doing a terrible, terrible job. And they do something really bad.
Yeah.
How are you going to feel?
Betrayed, I guess.
Right. And then you're going to come to me and you're going to say,
hey, RJon, you made this referral and I trusted you.
right. Now we're making it less extreme than the first example. In the first example, I affirmatively knew that so-and-so had a bad reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. And then what's your question going to be back to me?
Didn't you look into this before you made
I never
such a
bothered
strong
to do any due
referral?
diligence. I never bothered to check. I never bothered to check them out.
I've been referring business to Dr. So-and-so for years, and no one's ever complained, but I never checked to make sure that they had a license. I never checked to make sure that the record was any good. I never checked any references. I never bothered to investigate.
Yeah.
That's also negligent referral. It's negligent, right? Like, it's negligent to make a referral to someone who you've done nothing to check out, right? Now,
Is this,
now
let
the
me ask,
standard of care, hold on. Now the standard of care is different, right?
Yeah.
If I'm referring you to a financial advisor, if I'm referring you to a doctor, if I'm referring you to a lawyer, if I'm referring you to a tax strategist, that's one standard of care, yeah?
hmm
Hey, I'm referring you to a restaurant, probably a different standard of care. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
referring you to my neighbor's kid who's going to mow your lawn, probably a different standard of care, right? The standard of care is evaluated based on the context of the situation. But anyway, that's the cause of action for a negligent referral.
Okay. This is something that applies to everyone, not just lawyers, or is this something special that lawyers are subject to because of the profession?
Theoretically, anyone.
Anyone?
As a practical matter, it's people whose referrals carry with them a higher level of trust by the person being referred. When your lawyer refers you to an accountant, you have a higher level of trust in the accountant than when your gardener refers you to an accountant,
Yeah.
right? You expect the lawyer to have taken more care. You expect the lawyer to have done more due diligence. You expect the lawyer to have checked them out more than you expect the guy who mows your lawn,
Yeah. Okay.
right? Which is precisely why referrals from doctors, lawyers, accountants, realtors, and other professionals tend to be so much more valuable than referrals from gardeners, dog walkers, you know,
Yeah.
because there's an expectation by the person receiving the referral that you can trust the person they're making the referral to,
Yeah.
which goes back to picking your 10 people. You pick the 10 people who, because of their position in life and society, their referrals are more valuable to you. Now, this doesn't mean it has to only be a professional, right? My boat captain, well, that's not a good example because she's a licensed boat captain. But the point I'm making is when she refers me to a fishing guide, I take that very, very seriously,
Mhm.
right? I put a lot of trust in her recommendations for a fishing guide, right? I'm going to be out on a boat with this person 20 miles from land with my son with nowhere to run and nowhere to hide and nowhere to go and nothing to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about the person doing something to hurt me, but if the person just starts saying inappropriate things in front of my son, I got nowhere to go. I'm stuck, right?
Yeah.
Not to mention if they can't catch fish. But the point I'm making is choosing your 10 people, don't think it has to only be licensed professionals.
Okay. Okay.
Which, by the way, there is a chapter coming up in this book that we talked about a few months ago, Heidi. I want to remind you, where I specifically lay out the checklist of what you should do to do your due diligence on someone before you make referrals to them.
Yeah.
Because think about it, everyone. You know, the average client is not going to do even one of the things on the list of 10 things that could be done, right? And when you make a referral to someone and you say, listen, I'm making this referral to this person and I know them, I like them, I trust them. And let me tell you, I've checked their license, I've checked their Better Business Bureau standing, I've checked with 3 of the references, I've checked with the regulatory committee, like it would be the bar association, to make there's no complaints. I've checked to make sure they have malpractice insurance in place so they're safe. And I've checked back with everyone that I've ever referred to them, and I've gotten positive feedback. Wait a second, that sounds like a lot of work, RJon. Yeah, well, if you want to have a machine that gives you $1 million, 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 year after 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 year of business, you make some investments to build it right. And part of the investment of building it right is doing your due diligence and using the due diligence to elevate the referral, to put the referral on a much higher standard. That makes you a much better referral source for the other 10 people, which makes them more motivated to refer business back to you. Which, oh, by the way, when you're meeting with these 10 people, don't wait for them to ask you. You tell them, say, listen, I'm going to conduct due diligence on you because I'm not just going to make referrals to someone that I haven't checked out. I have a higher standard than that, which makes you, it raises you in their esteem. Now they're like, wow, this person is really serious. This person is someone I can really trust and depend on. So yes, it's more work, but it gives you better results. If you want quick and easy, you're not likely going to get great results for years to come. If you want great results to years to come, you got to build this thing right. Anyway, there's a whole chapter that we talked about this in the book with a checklist.
Yep. Okay. So I'm curious. I know you use the word install about like installing people in the automatic referral machine.
Yes.
And I'm just curious, like how you arrived at that, because it seems like a very intentional word choice. And it's one that I haven't really heard other people talk about, frankly, with, referrals and this and that. No one talks about, oh, I'm installing this person in this machine. So I'm just curious on like how you arrived at that.
Well, it's intentional.
Yeah,
Like
that's
you said,
yeah.
you're saying that I'm using the word intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying is the act is an intentional act.
Yeah.
You are think about it. You're installed in an office, right? When the president takes the oath of office, they're installed in the office of the presidency. When someone is placed in a position of trust, when someone is placed in a fiduciary position of trust, the correct term to use is that they're installed in the position.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually what the word is. So what I'm saying is I've got this team of people, these 10 people that I'm talking about, and I'm installing someone as my go-to referral source for this. That means I'm taking care, I'm being intentional, I'm following a protocol, I'm using a checklist, I'm doing it on purpose. I'm not just doing it because I like the person. I'm doing it because I know I can depend on the person.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So do we have to, I feel like with all of this, it's implied you would absolutely have to respect the person. Do you have to like get along with them? Do you have to be like, yeah, I could spend a couple hours with them. They're great. Like, do you have to be friends with them? Do you have to like them personally to have them installed in your machine? Or is it like, well, they do good work, they're reliable, they check all the boxes, I know they're going to treat the people well, it doesn't matter if personally I don't really jive with them?
Okay, so now we're talking about entrepreneurial maturity. Yeah?
Yeah.
So think about when your kids were little and they couldn't get exactly what they wanted when they wanted it, instant gratification, and maybe they threw a fit, and you as the parent said, let's just get this for the time being while we look for something better.
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, I know, honey, those aren't exactly the shoes you want to wear to school, but better you wear these shoes than go school barefoot. Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a sign of maturity. Right? Are you mature enough to install someone in your referral network just because they do a great job for the clients? Right? So so an entrepreneurially immature answer would be no. If you don't really like the person, if you can't go and have a few beers with the person and have a good time and be friends with the person, don't install them in your network. That would be an entrepreneurially immature answer. A more entrepreneurially mature answer would be, you want to be a person who gets phone calls from everyone in your network all the time for everything they ever want or need. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a boss who would get calls from everyone. Everyone in town would call this guy. In fact, everyone would call this guy so much to the point where they knew to stop calling him, and they called his executive assistant. And they would call the executive assistant, and they wouldn't even say, they would just say, who's his go-to person? Well, you, the executive assistant, the executive assistant was actually running the referral machine for him. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And by being in that position, the executive assistant would trigger so much return referrals back to this person because of how many referrals this executive assistant was placing on behalf of the boss, the owner. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the executive assistant would therefore be in a position to cherry pick out the things to say, you know, I think we can help you with that. That was a multi-million dollar automatic referral machine, not just $1 million referral machine, right? If you want to have a $1 million referral machine, your number one objective needs to be relevance. You must be relevant. Above all else, be relevant. Be relevant to everyone that you make referrals to. Be relevant to everyone in your network so that they always know to come to you whenever they need anything. And me being your best friend and you being my best friend and us being buddy is not relevant to you being valuable and relevant to people in my network.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, if I have a choice between A and B, right? Let's say you got a choice between A, B, and C. A, I really, really like, and they really, really like me, and we look forward to seeing each other. And whenever I speak about them, you can feel the warmth, and I know that they'll fight for me even when I'm not in the room. That's A. B, I don't particularly like, they don't particularly like me. I don't think they're going to say anything bad about me. I know that I will never say anything bad about them. And then there's C. C, I dislike. And I think they dislike me. I'm not going to put C in my referral machine ever, even if they do a great job. Why? Because they're going to do so much damage to me behind my back. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like them, neutral, dislike. Dislike, don't install them in the machine. That's just self-destructive. You know, that's just like putting water in your gas tank. Just don't do that. That's just stupid. Not particularly like, not particularly dislike. I don't want to go for dinner with them. They don't want to go for dinner with me, but I respect them professionally and they respect me professionally. Yeah, sure. I'll put them in while I either warm them up and develop a better relationship to the point where I can like them and they like me, or until I can find someone who's as good who I like better.
Okay.
These positions aren't fixed forever, by the way, right? And there might be a person who you install in your referral network who today, they're fantastic. I have a person who, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to name this person or reference the industry that this person was in, but this person served in a important role in my referral network for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I referred a ton of business to this person. This person, by the way, never once referred any business to me. Not once did this person ever refer any business to me. They just didn't have that kind of relationship with their clients to be, they didn't have the same level of trust. They didn't have a trusted relationship enough with their clients that their clients were coming to them looking for or talking about or sharing things that made them in a position to refer business to me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
But this person did a very good job, spoke very highly of me and my company. And I checked out the licenses and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, sadly, and by the way, I knew this person was in recovery. I knew this
Okay,
person
yeah.
was in recovery with alcohol. Like, but this person was sober for 8 years.
Okay.
When I met this person was already sober for 8 years. By the time this person fell off the wagon, they had been sober for 12 years. And something went wrong in their marriage. Something went wrong in this person's life. And unbeknownst to me, this person fell off the wagon. And I started getting some concerning feedback from people who I had referred to this person. So I investigated, I did some due diligence, and I discovered that in fact, this person was not doing the job to the standard that I would have required. And so I uninstalled this person from my network. I installed them, then I uninstalled them, just like a part of a machine.
Yeah.
You have a machine, and you install the part. You turn the screws, you turn the bolts, you turn the wrench, you install the part. And then when the part wears out, or if the part breaks, you uninstall the part and replace it with a new part. So I uninstalled this person from my referral machine. And I made some apologies and I made some amends. And I, told the people that, look, I don't give this person a breathalyzer test every day. I don't know what's going on in this person's life on a daily basis. And anyone who pretends like they do is obviously lying. That's not true.
Yeah.
And the people in my referral network understood that, I have a standard of care, but the standard of care isn't perfection.
Yeah.
Right. The
That's
standard of care is not such that I need to do a breathalyzer test on this person every day.
yeah. So that leads
And by the way, I really like this person. This person and I would socialize. We traveled together a few times, semi-socially. I say semi-socially because it was always a business part to it. But
Yeah.
like I genuinely like this person. Like I think this person and I would have considered each other at the very least business friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, I felt really bad when I had to uninstall this person from my network, from my machine, from my referral machine. I felt bad when I had to uninstall this person from my referral machine, but I have to protect my referral machine. I'm not going to let a bad part destroy $1 million referral machine.
Yeah. So that leads into my next question, which you've already partially answered it. Cause I was like, so what do you do when you installed someone and it's not working out as planned? And you've done all the things you're supposed to do and you're not getting a benefit from it. So I know it doesn't have to be like I refer, referral to referral. Like there can be other ways to benefit. And you're just realizing like, I think my question was kind of like, so do you let that relationship wither? Do you officially uninstall them? Do you tell them you're doing this? Like, what does that
Right, I
look?
understand the question. It
Yeah.
depends on the situation.
Okay.
Right? It depends on the context. So first of all, let's be clear about what it means to benefit from a referral relationship. Right?
Mhm.
It is an extremely short-sighted, entrepreneurially immature way of thinking that the only way you measure the benefits you get from a referral relationship is how many referrals you get back from the other person.
Yeah.
It's a very short-sighted, entrepreneurially immature way to think. I've already mentioned many examples of people who are in my referral network who I will never get a referral back from them. I don't ever expect to get a referral back from them, right?
Yeah.
My boat mechanic is probably never going to give me a referral. He just won't.
Yeah.
The fishing guide probably will never give me a referral. But there's other ways to get tremendous value from a referral relationship. And one of the ways to get tremendous value from a referral relationship is being able to always answer the call with a valuable solution to remain and become ever more and more and more relevant to everyone in my network, so that no matter what they got going on, they always call me first.
Yeah.
That way I can always cherry pick the business out of it that I want. Anyway, which brings to the next question is, how do you uninstall a person? Yeah.
Mhm.
Again, it depends on the nature of the relationship, right? Is this a professional relationship where you have an explicit understanding that we are referral partners here? And have we sat down and agreed on what I'm going to do when I make a referral to you? And have you agreed what you're going to do when you receive a referral from me? Right? Because one of the chapters in the book is how to receive a referral in a way that encourages a lot more referrals. Most people receive the referral badly and then wonder why they don't get a lot more referrals. If you receive the referral the right way, you will trigger and instigate and encourage a lot more referrals. I don't have that agreement with the fishing guide.
Mhm.
The fishing guide, I never sat down with the fishing guide and we never said, okay, listen, do you have a special phone number that I can give people that I refer to you? Do you have a special link on your website that I can give people who I refer to you? Let's agree on what you're going to say about me and my company to the people who I refer to you, right? The fishing guide and I do not have that kind of formal agreement, right?
Yeah.
Tax strategist and I do have that kind of formal agreement. The estate planning attorney and I do have that kind of formal agreement. Even the limo driver and I have that kind of formal agreement, right? But you're not necessarily going to have that formal agreement with everyone who is a resource for you in your referral network. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Okay. So someone that I have that kind of a formal agreement with, and I start getting some negative feedback from them, negative feedback about them, I'm going to show them the professional courtesy. I'm going to show them the loyalty. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe there's another side to the story, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to call them and I'm going to say, hey, listen, Heidi, I've referred you a bunch of business. I've heard generally very positive things about everyone that I've referred to you, and I appreciate you making me look good. I have an uncomfortable conversation that I need to have with you, but I hope you understand that I'm doing this because I value our relationship and I respect you, and I want to be in a position to continue being able to refer business to you with integrity. And I would hope that if the situation was reversed, you would value our relationship and respect me enough to do for me what I am now going to try and do for you. And I have to let you know, I'm a little bit uncomfortable, so please be gentle. Heidi, may I have
Yep.
permission to share with you what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Well, I referred so-and-so to you, and so-and-so came back to me because I checked in and I said, how's it going? And she said that she paid you a deposit, or she was trying to schedule an appointment with you and she couldn't get an appointment. Let's take the deposit out of it. That's too obvious. I
Yeah.
referred so-and-so to you, and well, I wouldn't just send her to schedule an appointment, but I referred so-and-so to you. Start again. I referred so-and-so to you. We
Mhm.
had that really great conversation. I thought we made a really good connection, and we agreed on who was going to do what by when at the end of the agreement, at the end of the conversation. And my notes are that you were going to send her a link to schedule an appointment to have a follow-up conversation. And she said that she never got the link from you. And she said she called your office 3 times and no one will get back to her. And she's feeling she's not feeling good about this, and it's making me look bad. So what's going on?
Mhm.
Role play with me. Role play with me, but play, let's quickly cycle through 3 or 4 different scenarios just to give everyone some perspective. So
Okay.
what's going on? Scenario 1, go.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I have had a really it's been a tough time for me personally. There's some things going on in my family life, and this coincides with my executive assistant also being out on medical leave. And I've
Blah, blah,
realized
blah, 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 blah. I'm going to now say, I'm so sorry. What's going on with your personal life? What's going on? Would maybe there's something I can do to help. What's going on? Well, this is what's going on. And boom, maybe I turn this into a referral.
yeah,
Executive assistant, boom, that's a second referral I get to make. The third thing you're about to tell me about why you didn't get back to the other person, that's now a third referral I can make. Right?
Yep.
And then I'm going to say, well, so what do you want me to do about so-and-so who I referred to you? Do you want me to make a referral to someone else? If this is not a right time for you to be taking on this business, I understand. But I could refer her to someone else. Or are you prepared to make me a personal commitment that you're going to really treat her like the VIP and make some amends?
No, I will absolutely. I'm going to, as soon as we're done talking right now, I'm going to personally pick up the phone and call her and get things moving. And I will treat her as the VIP that she is.
You know what? Don't do that. Let me call her first and make sure that that call will be welcomed by her, because I don't want her to be in an uncomfortable position to receive that call from you if she's already made the decision that she doesn't want to do business with you anymore. Okay. And then I'm going to call her. I'm going to explain the situation. I'm going to let her know that you give me your personal commitment, that you'll make it up to her, that you'll do good. And I've now, I think I think that my reputation would now be enhanced with both of you.
Yeah.
On top of which I now make 3 more referrals.
Yep.
Right. The more referrals you make, the more referrals you'll get.
Good.
All right.
Okay.
Scenario number 2.
Well, RJon, I'm I'm really busy and some things just fall through the cracks sometimes. I didn't realize,
Right.
like,
Blah, blah,
it's
blah,
a
blah, blah, blah,
blah,
blah.
yeah.
We're on our way to you getting uninstalled from my network.
Yep.
Right. Or the third scenario, which happens a lot, is I never got an email from her. Well, check your junk. I'm looking at my junk. I never got an email from her.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to call her back. She goes, yeah, Heidi Gusto with a J. I'm like, no, it's with a G. Oh, now I understand. And there's a lot of
And
misunderstandings.
everything's right. Yeah.
Right? A lot of misunderstandings happen, right? The point of making is I'm going to stand behind the referral that I make.
Mm-hmm.
This is a much higher standard than most people hold themselves to. This is part of the reason that so few people ever get to experience the benefits of having a $1 million referral machine that keep making referrals and referrals and referrals and referrals and referrals for years to come, is because they're not willing to do the work of building it in the first place and then maintaining it. Well, it's work.
Yeah.
It takes work to build it. It takes work to maintain it. The good news is that once it starts to work, you can hire someone to maintain it for you and even keep building it for you. But you got to start off with a vision of knowing that you want to wake up 5 years from now with this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful asset working for you. Otherwise, it just seems like work
Yeah.
for no payoff.
Well, and that you touched on something I also wanted to ask about. It's like we talk about it being an automatic referral machine. How do we actually make it automatic, and what's a reasonable expectation? Is that automation building and then delegating?
That could be. I mean, think about it. You drive a car, right? Is
I
your car
do.
stick shift or is your car automatic transmission?
Automatic.
Do you have to start the car?
I do.
Do you have to select a gear?
I do.
You have to use your brain to decide whether the right gear is going to be forward or neutral or reverse.
Yes,
do.
that comes very
Do you have to
naturally,
put-
but
Do you have
yes.
to put fuel in the car
Yes.
or maybe charge it?
Yep.
Do you have to do some sort of maintenance like oil changes, tires, brakes? Do you wash the car from time to time? I mean,
All
it's
of
an
the above.
automatic transmission, but that doesn't mean that there's no maintenance involved.
Yeah.
It works predictably, reliably, efficiently. It gives you tremendous leverage. It gives you much more freedom. Have you ever driven a 6-shift car?
Yeah. I know how.
Okay. Most of my cars growing up were 6-shift cars, right?
Mhm.
And back then, you know, maybe I show my age a little bit. There was no Bluetooth, right?
Yeah.
There
No,
were
yeah,
there were no
same.
earbuds, right? When you're talking on your cell phone, trying to drive your 6-shift car, it was like one of these,
Yep.
right? Or you had one of those. I prefer one of these, right? You know, or you're talking on a speakerphone and you're like shifting gears, holding a speakerphone, and it's like talk, shifting down here. What? Oh, you speak. I mean, it's
All kinds of bad
I don't
there.
even want to talk about what it's like trying to drive and stop and go traffic while eating a cheeseburger in a 6-shift car. It's a pain in the ass. I mean, it's fun if it's a sports car and you got a great road, but there's a reason why people have automatic transmissions. They're easier, they're more convenient.
Yeah.
But they're not zero brain power. They're not zero maintenance. They're not like you don't have to do anything ever.
Yeah. Okay. So in your experience though, like so if someone's reading this and like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to follow all the steps to the best of my ability. I get it. I'm locked in.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Let's stop right there. Don't follow all of the steps. Follow the first few steps. Stop. Let the first few steps begin to work for you.
Okay.
Then come back and follow a few more of the steps. Stop. Let them begin to work for you. Then follow some more of the steps. If we write the book that I think we want to write, no one should ever follow all of the steps. If you follow half of the steps, you can build $1 million referral machine. If you follow all of the steps, you won't have a $2 million referral machine. You'll have a $5 million referral machine. This is a buffet, right? Now, there's certain steps that are sort of kind of mandatory, right? Like you've got to get a plate. You've got to use the serving utensils, right? There's certain things about eating off of a buffet that are mandatory. But once you have satisfied that minimum basic criteria, minimum standard, you want the chicken, you want the fish, you want the lobster, you get whatever you want. You can pick and choose. I just don't want someone looking at this and thinking, oh, I can't do everything and therefore I'll do nothing.
Yeah. So what would you say are the top, like what are the mandatory steps? It's like Team 100?
Mandatory steps, minimum mandatory steps are let's start with the end in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Minimum mandatory steps. Figure out a way to receive referrals from people who make referrals to you that makes the sender look good. It could be as simple as here's a private phone number. It could be as simple as when they call the office, tell them to say they were referred by you, and we're going to use a different approach and give them extended office hours, early office hours, weekend office hours, special attention. When they're referred by you, here's what I'm going to say about you to the person you referred to me to make you look good. get that sorted out before you go out trying to get people to refer business to you. So you got a bucket to catch it all in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Another minimum mandatory thing I would say would be having a magic statement. Right? When you're going to go out meeting people at networking events and they ask you the question that by now you should predict and anticipate and be prepared for. I mean, no one listening to this, no one reading this should ever be at a networking event and be caught by surprise when someone says, "So, what do you do?"
Yeah.
I mean, you know that question's coming.
Yeah.
That's like going to the buffet with no plate in your hand and just thinking you're going to put the food in your hands. I mean, it's just not good, right? Third minimum mandatory step.
RJon, real quick before you move on to number 3, can I say, if anybody, we have a actually really great resource about magic statements and some sample magic statements if you're confused on how to get yours together and you want to make sure that you have a really good one, as well as all the other resources that we've talked about so far. You're going to go to howtomanagesmalllawfirm.com/referral-machine-resources. And that'll have all the resources we've got so far. I'll make sure the magic statement gets on there too. Okay, continue on. Number 3.
Thank you. Third is your calendar, right? Use your calendar and map out the places you're going to go. Figure out where you're going to go searching for people to add to your referral network, right? And we've already talked about it. You know, be smart about where you go. If your law firm does I don't know, immigration law, you're probably not going to get a lot of referrals from other immigration lawyers. Better to go and meet with family law attorneys or, depending on the type of immigration your law firm does, business attorneys or real estate attorneys. If your law firm does real estate law, you're probably not going to get a lot of referrals from other real estate attorneys. So don't go networking, trying to cultivate referral sources amongst real estate lawyers. Go to accountants, go to mortgage brokers, go to insurance groups where there's lots of insurance, homeowners, insurance agents. Go to where there's home improvement people gathering, roofers, electricians conferences. You get the idea.
Yep.
I'd say those are the 3 most basic. With just those 3 things in place, you can and should be able to. 4 is the thank you note. The thank you note, and I'd say 5 would be the Raymaking Rolodex. Those 5 things, you can be. You know the movie The Jerk with Steve Martin?
I know it. It's been years since I've seen it.
There's a scene where he's like, I don't need this. I don't need this. All I need is this ashtray. And like he's like storming out. And he's like, I feel a little bit like that I went from 3 things to 5 things. Anyway, 5 things. 5 things. With 5 things, you do these 5 things consistently, predictably, and well. Okay, 6 things. This is what I'm saying. Because the 6th thing is Bob Berg's feel-good questions. So,
Okay.
So what I say, 1 is figure out how you're going to receive the referrals well.
Yep.
That's 1. 2nd is your magic statement.
Yep.
So when someone asks you, what do you do? You've got something to say that isn't generic and useless. 3 is your calendar, to be strategic and smart about where you're going to go and do your networking, not net socializing. That was 3, yeah? 4, what did I say 4 was?
Thank you note.
Thank you note, right? Just write thank you notes, write thank you notes, write thank you notes. 5 is your Raymaking Rolodex, right? You'll notice, by the way, that none of these things cost any money. Right?
Yeah.
So no one should have any excuses not to do it. 5 is your Raymaking Rolodex. Just start collecting people that you're sending things to maintain top of mind awareness. And 6 is Bob Berg's feel-good questions so that when you're out meeting these people, You're asking good questions that will make them feel good about making referrals to you. All right, those are the 6 things.
Okay.
Only half a dozen things
But that costs $0.
that all cost $0.
Yeah.
No excuses.
Should we end on a couple questions?
Let's do that.
Okay,
I'm waiting for
awesome.
someone to write in, Dear Heidi, how do you put up with clients like RJon? And as a follow-up to this question, Carly, please answer the same question. I'm waiting for someone to write that.
I doubt that will come in.
Oh, now it's going to come in because I just dared them.
All right, here's a question that we have gotten a while ago, but it's not one we've come to yet. This is, do you have or do you recommend tracking this a certain way in your CRM or your dashboard? That's the question.
Eventually, yes, when you have someone who does not look back at you in the mirror doing it. When you can afford to hire someone to manage and maintain your referral machine for you, yes, we want them tracking things. When it's you doing it yourself, don't bother tracking things. You're not going to do it. It's going to take all the fun out of it. It's going to make it boring. It's going to make it tedious. You're going to slow it down. And I don't want you using the tracking as an excuse to avoid doing it.
I thought this one's fun. I don't remember us touching on this yet, but what's your policy on offering or accepting referral fees?
Yeah, so I will share a referral fee outbound if required. I try not to. And there's a chapter in the book where we actually specifically address this. And I'll explain, I'll give the short answer of it. But first, I don't receive inbound referral fees. As a general policy, I don't ask for, and I don't accept inbound referral fees. If I am going to be receiving an inbound referral fee, I make sure that the referral fee to me is not going to in any way, shape, or form cause the client to have to pay more. So, for example, life insurance. Okay. I actually went. I was referring so much business to life insurance agents at one time that one of the life insurance agents that I would refer so much business to, he literally came to me and said, RJon, you've got to go get your insurance license. I've got commissions to give you. And a referral. And I said, I don't want them. And he said, the insurance company is not lowering the price because you're not taking referral fees. They're not, the insurance company is not saying thank you to you. The insurance company is not charging less in premiums. You're literally just being wasteful and stupid. You want, donate the money to charity. I don't care what you do with it. Go get your insurance license. I got to start giving you referral fees. I probably get $60,000 or $70,000 a year in referral fees from people that I refer to life insurance agents. But I always make the disclaimer and I say, I just want to let you know, I get a commission from this because the insurance company would either give me the commission or they'd keep it and they wouldn't lower your price one bit. It makes no difference but I make the disclaimer that I get that. If I link someone if I make a link to go to Amazon to buy a book, right? Why shouldn't I get the $2 or $3? Amazon isn't going to lower the price because they're giving me $3, right?
Yeah.
But generally, as a general rule, what I will do when someone offers to give me a referral fee is I'll say, do me a favor. Don't lower the price to the person I'm referring to you. Instead, give them much more value. So if you would give me a $1,000 referral fee, give them $2,000 of extra value. Give them more value and tell them it's because I referred them. Normally, you get X for $5,000, but because you were referred by RJon, we're going to give you X plus Y and Z also. Give them more value at no additional charge. And then the person who asks me to give them a referral fee, what I say to them is, look, I could give you a referral fee, and if you insist, I will. But I'd really rather not put you in a position to have to receive a referral fee from me. I think there's things I can do for you that would be much more valuable to you than this one-time referral fee. And I say, I want you to be in a position where you can say to the person you're referring to me that you're not getting a referral fee and that the referral is made because you really genuinely believe this is the right thing to do, and you're not getting any kind of a referral fee. And I want you to be in that position to make that claim with integrity. Now, with that being said, there's lots of things that I can do to make this very much worth your while, right? For example, I will put my entire team to work finding referrals to make to you. I will go extra super duper, especially out of my way to make referrals to you. Instead of giving you a $1,000 referral fee, I'll give anyone you refer to me $3,000 of extra value and tell them that I'm giving them these bonuses and these extras because they were referred by you out of respect to you. And that will make you look even better to them. And that's worth more to you, I think, than the $1,000 referral fee. So I'll try to educate my referral partners. And this is part of what qualifies someone to be installed as a member of my referral network. The people who get this, the people who have this long view of long-term relationships, they tend to be people who I want to have in these referral relationships. The people are like, no, just give me the money. Just give me the money. Just give me the money. They're not usually people that I'm going to want to install in my referral network.
I think that actually ties in really well. Maybe we'll end on this question, but how do I make sure I'm not overstepping or getting into trouble when giving a referral contact a heads up about the person I'm sending them? So like
again, I don't think this has anything to do with the previous question. That's what threw me off. Read it again.
It says, how do I make sure I'm not overstepping or getting into trouble when giving a referral contact a heads up that I'm sending somebody to them?
Right. What they're okay. The person who asked this question, I gotta unpack this question because there's so many problems with this question. The question itself is based on a premise that's so screwed up that I need to fix it. Okay. Read it again slowly.
Okay. How do I make sure I'm not overstepping or getting into trouble when giving a referral contact?
Okay. So the premise is this. The premise is I've been out to a networking event, or I have a client who's called me who says, for example, I'm in a terrible business partnership with a horrible business partner who's doing a terrible job, and I need a lawyer to get me out of this terrible, horrible business relationship. The question further presumes that in response to this statement from the potential client, I'm going to say to the potential client, here's the name of the right person to help you. Her name is Carly McNamee. She's a great lawyer. She's terrific. She's wonderful. I know her. I like her. I trust her. Use my name. Call her and tell her that I sent you. And then the question further presumes that before you have a chance to call this lawyer, I am going to call you and say, Carly, listen, I want to give you a heads up that I just referred John Doe to you, and John Doe has this horrible, terrible business partner named Jane Doe, who's also his wife, and she's terrible, and here's why the business partnership is blah, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you, Carly, are going to be double screwed because you're now going to have to say to me, RJon, this is extremely uncomfortable for me because I represent Jane Doe, and I wish you would call ahead of time to check with me before you just sent me this referral. Or let's say you don't say that. Let's say there's no conflict of interest. You're going to say, well, thank you for setting me up for an awfully awkward and uncomfortable blind date. I guess I'll try my best when this John Doe, you say, finally gets in touch with me. I hope he calls the right number. I hope he identifies himself and reminds my intake person that he got referred by you. I hope he goes well. I'll let you know. Thanks. Goodbye. I mean, everyone is uncomfortable with this kind of a referral. The question presumes a bad referral in the first place. Heidi, are you seeing that?
I'm following along. Like, I think that the assumption, like, of the person asking the question, they're assuming this is going wrong.
No. The person, Carly, read the question again.
Sure. How do I make sure I'm not overstepping or getting into trouble when giving a referral contact a heads up about the person I'm sending them?
Stop. Heidi.
Yeah.
Sending them. Are we ever sending a referral?
No, you make the introduction.
That's the problem, right? If you're making an introduction, you don't have this problem. This problem only happens when you're sending the referrals.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's role play. Heidi, ring, ring. You answer the phone. Ring, ring.
Heidi speaking.
Hi, Heidi. My name is RJon Robins, and someone named Carly McNamee sent me to you and said you're the person that I should talk to when I want to write a book.
Thank you for
This is
contacting.
already going sideways.
Well, I don't know. I mean, well, what is okay? I'm playing devil's advocate. What
Okay,
is so horrible? If I
let's play it out. Let's play it
yeah.
out. Let's play it
Well,
out. And
thank
gotta
you.
listen, you got to play this out in the context of the better way to do it that we've already talked about.
Okay.
Because if you don't know any better, then you don't know any better. If you've never had a Five Guys cheeseburger, you don't know any better when you think you're all happy because you're eating McDonald's cheeseburgers.
Okay.
When you spend your life eating McDonald's cheeseburgers and you never had a Five Guys cheeseburger, you don't know what you're missing out on. Then you eat a Five Guys cheeseburger and you realize, what is that cardboard crap that I've been eating my whole life? If you don't know a better way to make referrals, if you don't know the $1 Million Referral Machine method of making referrals the right way,
Yeah.
then this crappy way of making referrals, you think, well, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Because that's what you're used to. Because that's
Well,
what
this
everyone
is what
does.
I get all the time. So I'd be like,
Yeah, it's all
thanks for
garbage. That's
Yeah.
the point.
well, okay.
Those
So
people,
let's
those people don't have $1 Million Referral Machines. That's why they don't have $1 Million Referral Machines, because they keep making crappy referrals. Okay. And when they make the crappy referrals, how many of those referrals, percentage-wise, actually turn into new business for you?
it would be lower, right? Because I'm going to say like, well,
As compared to the referrals that come the right way.
correct. Yeah.
So when you get another call that was sent to you by John Doe, and you're like, okay, John Doe's got 1 out of 100 batting average. Okay, I'm going to waste another hour talking to someone else that John Doe sent to me. Going to waste another hour talking to someone else that John Doe sent to me. Going to waste versus the referrals you get from RJon that are 100%. Let's call it not 100%. 75%. 3 out of 4 of them turn into business. You know you're not wasting the time when you talk to me and the people that I refer to you. Because I'm doing the work to set you up for success.
Yeah.
John Doe just feeding garbage to you and letting you sort it all out.
Yeah, you're on a fact-finding mission, because what I would say to you is, well, thank you for contacting me. Thank you for letting me know Carly sent you my way. How can I help? Tell me about your project.
Okay, so let's role play this. We're going to role play it 2 different ways. First, you were referred by John Doe, who did not read our book, who may read it, but didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And he just keeps making referrals, call it the traditional old-fashioned way. We'll do that. We'll role play that one first, okay?
Yep.
I'll be John Doe who was referred to you by
Okay.
Carly.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Feeling pressure.
I'll be the client who's referred by John Doe.
So John Doe referred you to me.
John
Yep.
Doe is the world's best. What industry or what profession is the best in the world at making referrals to book wranglers?
I don't
Your best
know.
referrals come from what type of industry? What type of profession?
I mean, generally, just like, I mean, I'll say people who are leaders in business. It can be
Great.
agnostic.
John Doe is a brilliant, high notoriety, brilliant book leader, business leader.
Mhm.
So I got referred by John Doe to you.
Yep.
John Doe has, quote unquote, sent me to you.
Yes.
He's sent this referral to you.
To me. Yep.
And by the way, I just want to say one thing about how I want you to play this role. Okay.
Okay.
It's not necessarily the most convenient time for you when the phone rings.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ready?
Okay.
Because remember, John Doe just sent this to you.
Yeah.
Ring, ring.
Hello, Heidi speaking.
Hi, is this Heidi Giosto?
May I ask who this is?
Oh, hi, my name is RJon Robins. I want to write a best-selling book, and John Doe, who is a really amazing business leader, he says he knows you, and he told me that you helped him write his book and that I should call you to help me write my book.
Okay, thank you so much. You know, I wasn't expecting your call, and you never know when it's a spam robot. So thank you for sharing
I
that
totally understand. I
context.
completely understand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how can you help me?
Oh, I would love to set up a time to learn more about your project. I have to get in a call on with a client in less than 5 minutes, and I'd really like to establish a dedicated time to learn more about your needs. Could we do that?
Yeah, we can do that. But can I just ask you a few quick questions? I promise you, it's just going to be a minute. Just first of all, just what do you charge? I just need to know, what do you charge? Because I don't want to waste your time scheduling an appointment if you're going to be out of my price range. So just what do you charge?
Yeah, I really appreciate that question, and we'll cover that, but it always depends on the scope of the work and the scope of the project. 20,000 word book is really different than an 80,000 word book. So
how big is a 20,000 word book? I've never written a book before. What's an example of a 20,000 word book?
well, that's a
tick, 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 tick.
You say
tick,
this stuff like you know it happens.
Oh, you mean this is realistic? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
It's almost like I'm qualified to write this book.
It's almost like you know a thing or two.
Right.
I have referred to you so many times as like a marketing genius. And no, for real. Yeah.
You flatter me. You flatter me.
No, right. Well, wait, I know you want to role play. We will, but I think we found a little nugget here, like a little golden nugget of this isn't just like best practices this is like, could you talk about like traditional passing of referrals? This is like super advanced, pro level, however we put it. But this is not just your basics, right? Like this is really next level beyond traditional referral marketing.
But it's not complicated, right? I mean, it's not like next level expense or next level complicated. It's just next level in terms of thinking it all the way through.
Yeah, it's like next level good though, right? Like, whoa, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I wish I knew this before.
Right.
Okay, so the next scenario that I always get nervous, I'm going to screw up.
All right, so the next scenario is going to be I will be making the referral.
Okay.
Carly needs to write a best-selling book.
Okay.
Carly,
Yes.
the best-selling book, what will the best-selling be book? What will the business be for the best-selling book? Let's just agree on that so we can do a good role play.
It's going to be podcasting for dummies. I know that's trademarked already. The for dummies.
Podcasting for established business owners who want to get their mission
Okay,
out
so
to
you
the
want to
world.
launch a podcasting production business.
Yeah.
That's the idea?
That's the idea.
Okay, good. So ready? Ring, ring, or email. Heidi, you and I are now talking. Hello,
Yep.
Heidi.
Hi, how are you, RJon?
I'm doing great. Thanks. How are you?
I am doing well. Is this still a good time for you?
I'm calling you. Yes, this is a good time.
sorry.
Listen, I'm calling
Habits.
because I have someone that I want to refer to you, and I want to make sure that this is going to be a good referral before I make the introduction, because I value your time and I value this other person's time, and I want to make sure that I make a really good referral that's successful for both of you. So can we just go over a few things and you tell me if this is the right referral for you or not?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I have a client. She gave me permission to let you know her name, to make sure you have no conflicts of interest, to not writing another book on the same subject or something like that. Her name is Carly McNamee, and she wants to write a book on podcasting. So her business is all about producing podcasts.
Mhm.
She helps business owners. Specifically, she focuses on law firm owners figure out how to come up with what their podcast will be about, and how to produce the podcast, and how to monetize the podcast. So before I make this referral, I just want to make sure, are you working on anything like that now? Will that
No,
be a
I'm
conflict
not.
for you?
No, that sounds like a really interesting topic and much needed.
Yeah. I think that she wants to make the book very practical, very, 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 very profitable for people. And she wants to use it so that she has something to offer as part of her lead gen campaign. I don't think she needs to like write the world's classic. It doesn't need to be like the last word on the subject, because the industry and technology keeps changing. I think she wants the book to have a shelf life of maybe a few years, probably not. It's probably the kind of book I think that 10 years from now, everyone will look back at and sort of laugh at.
So what I'm hearing is she has a business case for her book and she recognizes what that is.
Yeah, she's pretty practical.
Yeah.
She's pretty realistic about that. I've checked that out with her. I mean, she knows that podcasting, 10 years from now, podcasting might not even be a thing anymore, right?
Okay.
She
Yeah.
So is this the kind of book you got some time for, if she wanted to engage you?
Yeah, I'd love to learn more about it and see what her expectations are for timeline and where she is in it. But I would absolutely welcome the conversation so I can learn more about her needs and how we can work together.
All right. So what I found out from her is I found out that right now, not having a book is really causing her a lot of frustration, because
Okay.
she keeps getting invited onto other people's podcasts. And every time she gets invited onto other people's podcasts, she wants to be able to offer a book as a resource. And so she thinks that her average client is worth around $20,000, and she estimates she could be losing out on at least 5 or even as many as 10 clients a year. So 100 to or 50 to or was that 25? I can't do the math. What did I just say? 20,000
said
times 5 is
20.
100,000. So
Yeah.
between $100,000 and $200,000 a year of business she could be losing out on number one. And then the second thing is that she just feels like it's really bad for her brand not to have a book, and just
Yeah.
to protect her brand and protect her position in the marketplace. On top of which, she just feels like she just wants to have something to show her friends and family that, like, I've got a book, because no one understands what a podcast is.
Yeah. That's so those are some common scenarios of what really makes business leaders and entrepreneurs get their book out. So it sounds like she's motivated, and that this isn't just some hobby idea thing for her. So she sounds like she'd be a great referral for me.
Yeah, I've done business with Carly for years. She's actually produced 3 of my podcasts for me. I can tell you she's not a crazy person. She's pretty reasonable.
Good to know.
She's pretty easy to work with. You know, she's a little quirky in blah, 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 blah. And she's got, you know, she can't schedule early morning appointments, but other than that, it's great to work with her.
That is fine. I am really, I try to be really flexible and adaptable. And when we get committed to making a project work, we make it work.
Okay, great. So
yeah.
listen, if it's all right with you, I'd like to schedule an appointment for you and me to introduce her to you, just so I can do a warm handoff and make a proper introduction. Could you look at your calendar and see what's available? We look at your
Absolutely.
calendar, I look at my calendar, I get it coordinated, or I'm going to have my assistant get this coordinated. Boom. Now we're on a call. Carly, welcome to the Zoom. Carly, Heidi.
Hi.
Hi, nice
Carly,
to meet you, Carly.
I'd like to introduce you to Heidi. Carly, as I mentioned to you, this is Heidi Gusto. Heidi is the book wrangler that I told you about. Heidi helped me and Ivan write our last book. She was a pleasure to work with. I can't give you the names. I'm not allowed to give you the names of some of the other people she's written books for, but I promise you, you've walked through airports and seen those books. She's got a really great reputation. She was really easy to work with. She always delivered everything on time. And she helped me think of things to say in the book that I might not have otherwise thought of. I was dropping all kinds of things that I thought were throwaways, and she's like, "No, that's a good thing to put in the book." And I brought things to her that I thought were really important, and she said, "No, leave that out of the book." And I thought that was a really valuable service. And without her, I really don't think we ever would have got that best-selling book written that generated millions of dollars of business for us.
I'm so excited to work with Heidi right now.
This is Heidi. Heidi, this is Carly. And Carly, I already told Heidi that you and I have worked together on my podcast, and I told her that you're a pleasure to work with. Carly, I told Heidi that you estimate that you're probably losing out on between 5 and 10 new clients a year because you don't have a book. And I told her that your average client is worth about $20,000. So this could be between $100,000 and even $200,000 a year of new business that you could be getting if you had a book. And that means like every month you could easily be losing out on between $10,000 and $20,000 a month every month that is delayed in getting the book done. So there's a real urgency to get this book done. Have I got that right?
Yeah.
All right. I also told Heidi that you are realistic, that this is a business book, and that, you know, we may or may not even be using the term podcasting 10 years from now. And you're not trying to write like, you know, the final word that will ever be written on podcast. You just need something so that when you're invited onto other people's podcasts, you've got a book to give.
That's it in a nutshell. Thanks, RJon.
Oh, you're welcome. So the reason that I thought you both would be good to work together is because you're both people that I know and I like and I trust. And Carly, I've referred quite a bit of business to Heidi, and Heidi knows that anyone I refer to her, she's got to treat them really well, or she knows I'm not going to refer any more business to her, and she doesn't want to lose my referrals. Heidi, isn't that true?
Yes.
So Heidi's going to treat you really well. And here's what I'd like to suggest going forward, if that's all right, because I know we're all really busy, and I feel like my job here is done making this connection. What I'd like to do is I've exchanged each other's contact information. Maybe you could use the rest of this hour to keep talking or schedule an appointment to get deeper into it. I know Heidi has an intake form that she's going to ask you to look at. And I just want to leave you with this, everyone, Heidi and Carly, that if anything ever happens in this relationship, if there's ever a problem, there's ever a misunderstanding, if there's ever disappointment, first off, give each other, please, the benefit of the doubt, because I don't refer assholes to people, and I don't refer people to assholes. And number two, let me know, and let me try to mediate and get in the middle of it and try to sort things out if there's any misunderstandings, because I want to stand behind this referral. Okay?
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for making this connection happen. And Carly, I'm so excited to learn more about your project. And of course, I'm happy to tell you about how I typically work with people and to really get things started so you can have that book that you're proud of to show off when you're the invited guest on podcasts.
Ditto. Talk soon. RJon, that difference is stark.
Bam. That's how you build $1 million referral machine. It takes some extra work, takes some extra effort. By the way, Did it have to be RJon making the referral, or
No.
Carly, if you worked for me, you could have made that referral.
Yeah.
My chief of staff could have made that referral. My executive assistant could have made that referral. I could have trained someone to make that referral on my behalf, and it would still work just as well.
So I have a question that it might not be actually answerable in a precise way, but I'm going to ask it. What's the difference in value? Is it like one of those types of referrals is equal to 25 of the, oh, contact
send you.
Heidi, right? Like, I'm just going to send you this person,
I mean, you can't quantify that, but you have to just use some entrepreneurial maturity, some life experience, some common
Yeah.
sense, some just basic intelligence to recognize that referral one, an email or a text introduction,
Yeah.
those are so awkward and uncomfortable. They don't lead anywhere, right? Referral number, and even if they do lead somewhere, I don't look like a superhero for doing it.
Well, I think they can, my experience, they can lead somewhere, but yeah,
Hopefully
it's
they go
really,
somewhere, but it's awkward and uncomfortable. I mean, look at how that introduction started. The McDonald's cheeseburger version. Look at how that started
yeah,
with me mispronouncing your name. You think that this was a sales, like a cold call. We didn't know where
yeah,
to go. You didn't have any control of the conversation. I caught you at a bad time. You were unprepared. I wanted to throw a bunch of the wrong questions at you because I wasn't prepared. And even if this winds up being something, man, it was so painful, right?
yeah, yeah,
It's not just a matter of how many of these referrals pan out into business. It's also a matter of, do I look like a hero or do
yeah.
I look like a jerk? I should have said 0 there. I'll try to give the editor a second shot at the apple here, a second chance. Do I look like a hero or do I look like a 0? Now, if the editor has any humor whatsoever, they'll leave both of them in, including this, because that would be more fun. Anyway, the point I'm making is it's not just a matter of how much. This is what I was talking about earlier, the entrepreneurially immature, short-sighted. The only way to evaluate or measure the value of the referrals is dollars
Yeah.
in the short term or number of referrals in the short term. The longer view, the more entrepreneurially mature view, the view that builds the $1 million referral machine that we've been talking about, is the one where I also want to be seen as a valuable resource by virtue of making better referrals.
Yeah.
And how much longer did it really take, right? It took me maybe 20 minutes interviewing Carly ahead of time so that she feels cared about, heard, valued, and appreciated. Yeah. It took me maybe 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes with you to make sure that this was the right referral for you. There's no conflict of interest and it's a scheduled appointment, right? And then it takes maybe 20 minutes to make the introduction. See, because we're getting right down to business. We're not trying to use social tools in a business setting. We're using business tools in a business setting. And because we're using business tools in a business setting, the interview with Carly can get done. I can get everything I need in 15 minutes with Carly. I can get everything I need with you in 15 minutes with you. And then I can make the introduction between both of you in less than 10 minutes. When you try to use these social tools, though, it just breaks and doesn't go right.
Yeah.
That was such a stark example. I'm really glad that that's where that ended up. I hope that was really, really helpful to the person who asked the question initially. They has to be anonymous. So, okay, let's go ahead and end there. And we'll come back tomorrow for everybody watching. Tomorrow
I'll
we
be
will
early.
have.
I will be standing in this spot, ready to go early, because Dr. Ivan Misner will be with us and I won't be late.
Yeah, we've got we're going to have a really good time tomorrow and have some really, really practical, substantial advice and information coming your way. So don't miss tomorrow. We will see everyone here bright and early, nice and early. And yeah, if you have any questions in the meantime, let us know. I will add those to the queue for Q&A. And again, if you would like to download any of the resources that we've had so far for your Team 100, for the gas call scripts, for the 4 steps to a successful sales call scripts, go ahead and go to howtomanageasmalllawfirm.com/referral-machine-resources. And we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Could,
Thank you.
Carly,